Okay, welcome back, fourth grade. I want you to go ahead, take out your green book, and we're going to open the story that we left off reading on Monday, which was Dollar and Cents. And we finished reading the first part, so we're going to go ahead and now read the second part, which is Giving Back Rocks, which is on page 66. So while you are looking for that page, I want to remind you that we are reading an argumentative text. Okay? And some key features in an argumentative article is that the article is going to state the author's claim about a topic, which is the author's belief about a topic. In this sense, we're talking about businesses. So we're going to be looking back in the story to see how does the author feel about the businesses that they are mentioning. Okay, and I want you to remind you that in an argumentative article, authors write facts and examples to support their claim. The other thing we're going to be looking at is text features such as graphs and heading. And remember that text features, graphs, and headings, they help develop and support the author's perspective. That means that they include this in order to convince us and to persuade us to look at the information and agree with their opinions about the topic. All right, so let's go ahead to Giving Back Rocks. This is the second heading. And as we are reading, as we come to the end of each section, we are going to be doing a stop and think as part of our reading strategies, but we're also going to be looking for central idea and details. That means central idea, what is this section about? And remember that looking at headings gives you a clue about what the section is going to be about, because that is what a heading, the job of a heading, does. It gives us more information. It gives us a glimpse of the information that we are going to be reading in this specific part. And the details are the facts that support that central idea. Okay, all right, so let's start with Giving Back Rocks. Before we continue to read, we're going to go ahead and decide where we're going to stop and think. On this page, on page 66, we're going to go ahead to do a stop and think at the end of this paragraph. And also we do a stop and think at the end of this section. So the section Giving Back Rocks actually ends on page 67. So here's where I wrote the SNT. All right, so let's go ahead and let's read Giving Back Rocks. Have you ever seen a Hard Rock Cafe? The company runs restaurants and hotels. In 1990, the company launched a new enterprise, charity. Since then, it has given away millions of dollars to different causes. Its motto is love all, serve all. One way the company raises funds for charity is by selling a line of t-shirts. The process starts with rock stars designing the art that goes on the shirts. Then the shirts are sold on the internet. Part of the money that is raised from the sales of the shirts is given to charity. Okay, now that we have come to our first stop and think, we're going to ask ourselves, who or what is these two paragraphs about? So it's not talking about a specific person, so it's not a who, instead is a what. And in here, it gives us more information. This is about the Hard Rock Cafe. The second question we want to ask ourselves is, what are they telling us about the Hard Rock Cafe? So just based on these two paragraphs, we know that is a company that has restaurants and hotels. And one of the new initiatives that the Hard Rock Cafe launched was charity. And charity, as we talked about, are organizations that help the community or other people that are in need. So, what is the author telling me about the Hard Rock Cafe, and why are they mentioning charity? And as we can see in the next sentence, it gives us more information. It says that the company has given money, a lot of money, to different types of causes. Causes are charity organizations that help out people. And their motto is love all, serve all. Okay? Now, how does the company raises all of this money to give away to organizations that help our community? And here in the second paragraph, it tells us that one of the ways the company does this is by selling t-shirts. And it says that Rockstars design them, and then they sell them online. And part of that money that they receive is given to charity. Okay? So here, now we can go ahead and look for a detail that best explains one way the Hard Rock Cafe raises money to give back to the community. And if we look at our last two paragraphs, we know that the answer is the best sentence that supports that statement is our first sentence on the second paragraph of the heading, Giving Back Rocks. So I want you to go ahead and underline that. One way the company raises funds for charity is by selling a line of t-shirts. Okay? Right? So that's how we know how the Hard Rock Cafe gives back to the community. And this is the sentence that supports that idea. Right? And let's go ahead to our next paragraph. Employees at Hard Rock Cafe locations are encouraged to raise money for their community. Every store does it differently. And right below we have come to a photograph, and we have a caption. So in this photograph, I see people sitting in a restaurant. It looks like a restaurant because there are chairs and tables, and people are talking. Right below it gives me more information about the photograph. Hard Rock Cafes are committed to giving back to the community. Okay, let's go ahead to page 67. The restaurant in Hollywood, Florida worked with some exceptional students from 2 Florida high schools. Together they put on an event to raise money for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. The foundation grants wishes to children with serious medical problems. So here we're going to go ahead and do a stop and think. So we're going to ask ourselves, who or what is this paragraph about? So this paragraph continues to be about the Hard Rock Cafe and the organization, the charities that they give money to. And it gives us more information about one organization they give money to, which is the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And the Make-A-Wish Foundation is the organization that gives children with serious medical problems. It grants them a wish. That means something that they really want to do, like go to Disney. So this organization makes it available through the money received from the Hard Rock Cafe to give those kids that wish. Okay? Now, after reading this section, I want us to think about, what does the author want you to remember most about companies like the Hard Rock Cafe? Because that's going to give us a clue as to what is going to be the central idea. Okay, so here in the Hard Rock Cafe, there is a sentence that continues and words that continue to be used over and over again. The word charity, given away, selling t-shirts, raising funds. Okay, over here is raised from the sales of the shirt. So this section mainly talks about the Hard Rock Cafe raising funds through different programs that the company has. So that is the central idea of this section. And the details, well, how do we know that? You can ask yourselves, what are they doing to give back? And here is one detail, and we're going to label that, which is the company raises funds for charity by selling lines of t-shirts. And another detail that we saw over here is that together they put on an event to raise money for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So this is another detail that supports the central idea. So even though we don't have a specific sentence that talks about the central idea, we can infer about central idea based on the details that we find in the heading. So let's go to our next section, the bottom line. Let's go ahead and read it. The bottom line. Every day, companies are thinking of innovative ways to give back to their community. If you own a business, making a profit is a necessity. However, helping others is just as important as the bottom line. Helping others is good business. Okay, so here we're also going to do another stop and think. And we're going to ask ourselves to better understand who or what is this about. So we know they are not mentioning a person, so it's not a who, instead is a what. And if you said that the answer is business, you are correct. Now, the next question you need to ask yourself is, what is the author telling me about the business? So the author here is telling us that helping others can also be a good business. So they tell us that it's important for companies to make money, but it's also important for companies to use those earnings to help out their community. Okay, so we're gonna get ready to answer this question right here, which is draw a box around the sentence that summarizes the central idea. Now, in this case of the bottom line, the central idea of this is in our last sentence. Helping others is good business. So we don't have to make an inference about the central idea. Instead, just by reading and asking ourselves questions, we can identify the central idea. In this case, it's in the last sentence. Okay? Now, I also want to point out to something very important here on page 67, which is really big at the top, which is a bar graph. Let's go ahead and let's label that bar graph. And the reason why I know this is a bar graph is because it has a title, and I'm also seeing bars on this graph. Now, this graph has information that it's related to the topic that we are learning about, which is businesses that give back to our community. Here is the title, Top 5 Charities. So remember that charities are organizations that receive money from companies to help the community. And just by looking at the bar graph here, which charity donated the most money in 2016? We can find that information by looking at the actual numbers here at the top. And if you selected that the United Way Worldwide was the charity that donated the most in 2006, you are correct. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to write in our books that the United Way Worldwide is the charity that donated the most to our community in 2016. Okay? So I want to remind you that in an argumentative text such as the one that we are reading, authors use text features to make a point. Now, why do you think the author included this graph? And sometimes reading the title and looking at the information helps us answer this question. So because I see the title is Top 5 Charities, I know this is going to be related to charities, which is what we talked about in the book. And then by looking at the different bars, I can see that it gives us more information about the charities where businesses have contributed money to. Okay? And this graph supports the author's claim or the author's belief about the topic that business should help out the community by showing how individuals and businesses help these charities raise money for people in need. Okay? Now, the last thing I want to point out is here to the heading, bottom line. Last week we talked about idioms and how authors use different types of figurative language to name their heading. So here is a great example of that, the bottom line. The bottom line is an expression, it's an idiom, it's an expression that describes the profit or about making money. Now remember that the heading also helps us find out the central idea of this section. In this case, because the bottom line refers to making money, it can also mean the most important idea. Okay? Because it's telling us that a business needs to make money to survive. And this right here, we've identified that the central idea is helping others is good business. Now, I want to say something else because a lot of us use the word main idea. And even though main idea is related to central idea, in 4th grade, we are going to now be using central idea and not main idea. Okay? And here's this other question that we can go ahead and answer, and it's referring to the idiom that the author is using here in the heading, which is called bottom line. So it says that the bottom line refers to the profit. Remember, profit is the money that a business makes. It also means the central or main idea of something, because authors use headings as to give us a hint to that central idea. So how does the play on words in the heading relate to the text? Okay, so here we're going to go ahead and write, how does the play on words in the heading relate to the text? Okay, and here we're going to talk about how the companies or businesses, why? Okay, that's wrong. Companies can make money and can help people, which also leads us to the central idea of the whole entire text. So we read about two different companies. We read about the Tom's Shoes and how they are helping the community in Argentina through the idea that Blake Mycoskie had. And now we're reading about the Hard Rock Cafe and what they do to give money to charity. So both of these headings are related to companies making money, but also helping people. So that is our gist, our central idea for this text. Now that we know our central idea of the text, we are going to go ahead and go to page 69 and look further at certain words to help us understand the text even better the second time we read. So on page 68, you should have done this for homework, and Ms. Mejia checked this yesterday. So let's move on to this part. So with your highlighter, Ms. Mejia doesn't have a highlighter. I'm going to underline instead, but you can go ahead and highlight. Okay, I want you to go ahead and highlight that a suffix is a word part added to the end of the word. So a suffix, and here we have three: ly, ive, and ity. By itself, they don't mean anything. They don't make sense. So they need to be part of a word. And once we see them in a word, that little suffix changes the meaning and the part of speech of that whole entire word. So these are the three suffixes that we are going to be learning. ly, which means done in the way of; ive, related or belonging to; and ity, the state or quality of. So I'm going to go ahead and show you with this sentence how I can use the suffix and context clues to find the meaning of the word innovative. And then we're going to do it together with the words traditionally, immediately, and necessity. So here is the word innovative. The word innovative has a base word. That means this is the word that if we take out the suffix is still a word. In this case, the base word is innovate. And here is our suffix. This IVE was added to it. Because the IVE, the last three letters, were added, now it changes this verb into an adjective. Remember this, an adjective is a word that is used for describing. In this case, they are describing a program that Mycoskie set up, which is the shoes. So going back to this word, what is the meaning of innovative? I want you to go ahead and write it over here in this space. So the base word here is innovate. That's the base word. And innovate means to have an idea, like a new idea. So innovate with IVE means related to or belonging to. So this is related to new ideas that people have in their business. So let's go ahead and do the your turn. Go ahead and number them 1, 2, 3. So let's go look at the first word. The first word is traditionally. What is the suffix in this word? You can go ahead and pause the video, or you can continue to follow along. So here the suffix is ly. Because the suffix has ly, that means that the root word is traditional. Okay? The suffix ly, according to our chart, it means done in the way of. So we're going to go ahead and copy that. Done in the way of. Because when we add that ly, that is the meaning of the ly. Now let's look at the base. We have the word traditional. So because this is the root, then we say that traditionally the definition is done in the way of, or you can put done in a traditional way. So I'm going to scratch this out over here. Done in a traditional way. So a tradition is something that your family has from year to year through generation. That is a tradition. Okay? So traditionally means done in a traditional way. You're doing something like how it's always been done. Our second word is immediately. What suffix do we see at the end? ly, just like traditionally. We know that ly means done in the way of. So what is our root word? Immediate. And we know immediate means super fast. So immediately means done in. Immediate can be like something that's going to happen very, very soon. So we can write the definition as done in a near future. Oh, and EAR, future, FUTURE. Okay, that would be a great meaning for the word immediately. Now let's go ahead and look at our third word. Our third word has the suffix ity. Okay, so the suffix ity means the state or quality of. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and write that. Well, before we write that, let's go ahead and find the base word, which is the original word. The original word is necessary. So I'm going to write that down so I won't forget. Okay, but the moment we added that ity, now it changes it to the state or quality of being something that people need right away. That is a necessity. So we're going to write that. The state or quality of being, and you might have to write this a little bit small like me, necessary, but that's okay. Alright, remember you can pause this video, you can rewind this video, go back from the beginning if you did not understand how we use suffix to define the meaning of words. Okay, I am ready to move on to the reread. So I want you to put here, reread is a strategy. This is something that we are doing when the question sends us back to the paragraph, or as we are reading, we're not understanding a detail from what we are reading. So let's go ahead and read this part and the quick tip. When you read an argumentative text, you may come across ideas and information that are new to you. As you read dollar cents, reread sections to make sure you understand the important facts and details in text. So this is very important as you come across ideas and information that are new to you. So if we know that this is a topic that is new to us, then we have to reread. Even though we understand the story, it's still a good idea to reread. Okay, after you reread, okay, let's go ahead and put it to practice over here. So here, this person is using an example that they reread the section. Oh, no, they want us to reread the section, hearts and souls in dollar cents, which we did. Now, here's the part they want us to reread. McCoskey decided he had to do something. I'm going to start a shoe company, and for every pair I sell, I'm going to give a pair to a kid in need. Now, here is more information in those captions. I read that Tom gives away one pair of shoes for every pair of shoes that someone buys. From this evidence, I can draw the inference that the more shoes Tom sells, the more shoes can be given away. Okay, so that's nice. Now let's go ahead and look at the graphs and headings. So this is a skill. A skill is something that you need to be able to do and understand because it will come up on a test. Here we are talking about graphing and headings. Graphs and headings are both text feature, something that we see in a book. Okay, let's see what it tells us about graphs and headings. Dollars and cents is an example of argumentative text. It includes reasons and evidence that support a claim. Argumentative text may include text feature such as graphs and heading. Okay, so here we go back to that word claim that we have been talking about. So a claim is the argument, is the belief that a person has. And let me see, yep, that is correct. And a claim is supported. That means that when an author writes this, they're going to include graphs and headings, okay, to get the reader to agree with them. And this is what also stated here in this box. Authors use heading and graphs to give reader a quick overview of information. Go ahead and highlight that part. So the authors include these text features to help us get the information we need faster. And this information can help develop and support the author's perspective or position on a topic. Right? So let's go ahead and let's answer this question. Find and list 2 text features in dollar and cent and tell what information you learned from each of these features. Okay. So to answer this question, it says, it tries to get the readers to agree. It includes headings as well as a graph that shows the amount of money raised by different charities. Okay, so this graph helps you picture numerical information. This bar graph helps you compare information. Headings, such as the one here, top 5 charities, tells you what the section is mostly going to be about, which is over here. This is the title of the bar graph, and here is the main heading. So here, let's go to the question. Find and list two text features in dollar cents. Tell what information you learned from of the features. So here we're going to talk about a bar graph. So we're going to go ahead and write that. So a bar graph, what information we are learning about each of these features. Okay, so a bar graph makes it easier to understand the information in the text. Okay. All right, we're going to move on. Remember that you can pause this video and go back. All right. Then we have central ideas and relevant details. All right, so you definitely want your highlighter for this. Ms. Mejia is going to underline what you should be highlighting. Okay. The central idea is the author's most important thoughts about a topic or subject. It's also called the main point. A relevant detail gives information that tells more about the topic and supports the central idea. Okay? Quick tip. A central idea may or may not be directly stated in the text, which is very important to do, because even though we are reading, maybe they never give us a main idea. So that is the part where we have to use our inferencing skills. All right, so when the central idea is not directly stated, you have to ask yourself, what does the author most want readers to know or understand? And this is where it's very handy to use those headings as a clue. All right, so we're going to go ahead on page 73 and we're going to fill out the graphic organizer that lists the central idea, what the text is about, and the details. And we are going to do it on Blake Mycoskie, since that's a story that we have previously read. Okay. So in this section, we're going to go back right here, hearts and souls. Okay. For the main idea, we're going to ask ourselves, what does the author most want me to know or understand? That's going to help you write the central idea. And you can look at the words and the language the author uses. Then we're going to go ahead and write details, okay, that support or give me more information about that central idea. So this is something that we have already done in the reading notebook. We did this last time we worked on this story. So we are going to go ahead and skip this part. And I'm going to put paste here to remind me that we have to glue the graphic organizer we did for this section. Okay. So that leads us to respond to reading, which is all about writing. And let's go ahead and read those quick tips to help us with the writing. Use these sentence starters to discuss the text and organize your idea. Perfect. So these are sentences that we're going to use to write about our ideas. And the grammar connection. Check your use of compound subject. A compound subject is two or more subjects with the same predicate. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's look at this question. It says, discuss the prompt below. Use your notes and text evidence to support your answer. Even though it says with a partner, you're going to go ahead and you're going to do it on your own. Do you agree with the author's claim that businesses can help others? Okay, right here, the reading word is author's claim, which is the author's belief about the topic. In this case is business. So what really they're asking you is if you agree that the authors believe that businesses can help others. Like, can they help the community? Can they help their people? So based on what we read, the answer is yes. Because Blake Mycoskie is an example of somebody that helped the community. And also now this person here, that the Hard Rock Cafe are different ways that businesses can help out each other. Okay, so let's use some of our sentence starters. Because I agree that a business can help others, I'm gonna start with the sentence starters. I agree. And then we're gonna tell, okay, what are we agreeing with? And this is going to be our claim. I agree businesses, and here we have the word businesses, can help others. And we put a period at the end of that sentence. So this is our claim. Now, just the same way authors, when they write claim, they have to give facts, we also are going to support facts. Well, how do we know that businesses can help others? Okay, so here is where we are going to start by saying the text, because we're getting this information from the text. All right, and one of the businesses that comes to mind is the one that we read about on Monday, which is Blake Mycoskie right here. So he's a business owner that helped other people. So let's write about them. The text, and let's look at the section, hearts and souls. So I want to be specific. Okay, the text in the section hearts and souls, okay, shows Blake, I'm going to put his name, Mycoskie, helping kids in Argentina. Okay. Okay, so what is the evidence that he is helping out kids in Argentina? How do we know that? What is the action that happened? Okay, well, he made his own shoe company, so he made his shoe company and donated. Now, do we know how many shoes he donated? We know that he donated a lot. Let's see. Let's go back and see how much he donated, because I remember we underlined that. Right here, he donated over 60 million pairs. So let's write that. He made his shoe company and donated over 60 million pairs of shoes. Okay, and now what is the other business that also helped out? Okay, the Hard Rock Cafe. That's correct. So let's go ahead and write that. Okay, the author, because this is where we're getting the information from, in the heading. And what is the name of the heading? The one that talks about giving back rocks. Okay, and what is the author telling us there? How did the Hard Rock Cafe give back? Because that's going to be our next sentence. Okay, the author in the heading giving back rocks shows businesses can help others. Okay, so how do we know that they have helped others? Okay, so we can put that they have given away a lot of money to charity. Okay, remember you can always pause this video to catch up in your writing. And then the last sentence that we have is called a closing sentence, where we talk about Tom's and we talked about the Hard Rock Cafe. So we can put as our closing sentence is going to retell what this whole paragraph is about, which businesses can help others. But we're going to be more specific. Who are the two businesses that we wrote about? So we wrote about Tom's, and we also wrote about Hard Rock. So Tom's and Hard Rock, what do they both do? Both businesses help others. Okay, and we could leave it at that. Right? Remember to go ahead and pause if you need to pause the video. Alright, next time I see you, we're going to be working on kids in business. We're going to be working on identifying the author's perspective and central idea. If you are done copying this, you can put your book away inside of your desk. When Miss Mejia gets there on Friday, she will be checking. Alright, we're going to go ahead into writing. So once you put this book away, go ahead and watch the other video that will give you more information about writing. Okay, thank you. Have a good one.